All right, guys, welcome. This is the new Substack, roguemacro.substack.com. Check it out. I'm moving some of my older writings from the onto macro subjects over to this new Substack from the old website. Subscribe here because there is going to be free blog posts. There's also going to be paid content when it is actual analysis, of the charts and things like that. That's going to be on the paid version of this Substack, and then I'll also be having the paid version of the old website. But just trying to branch out and do a little bit different marketing here. For this, but I wanted to introduce you to the Substack and walk you through a post or two. I'll probably make this one video, one post, and then I'll come back with another one. But let's go into this economic arguments against vibe coding. This was published earlier this month. So in here, I argue that vibe coding is intoxicatingly easy, but it has major drawbacks, not only to the individual, but to society itself. So let's go through a couple of these arguments. So opportunity cost and comparative advantage. Comparative advantage says you are most valuable when you spend your time where your relative strength is greatest. Yes, AI can help you write code, but it does not erase your unique advantages in domain knowledge, relationships, judgment, and distribution. A real estate agent should do that. A nurse should do nursing, etc. So this is important for specialization. Choosing specialization is a virtue, where if you're going to be a vibe coder, you're kind of wiping away specialization, saying that everybody can do multiple things at once because AI allows us to do that. But that is an argument against specialization. The whole idea of specialization is that you specialize in places that you have a comparative advantage, and the sum total is greater than the parts in that case. So you specialize and you trade. With AI, no specialization. Then it starts to break down these relationships in society on a personal level and a societal level. Personally, it compounds skill. This is specialization, compounds skill, reputation, and network effects. Socially, it raises total output because people trade what they do best for what others do best. The market selection mechanism emerges from that coordination. So again, this is an argument for the market itself. Specialization and trade, creating a market that sends signals through prices and organizes society. If you start getting rid of specialization through AI and vibe coding and all this stuff, you chip away at the underlying market mechanism. And also then the entire structure of the economy. So when you honor your edge, you reduce noise and increase signal for everyone. Signal versus noise. Signal detection is one of the most overlooked costs in economics today. When the internet first emerged, people talked about the democratization of information, but few anticipated how noise could drown out the signal. As we produce more data, detecting useful signal becomes more expensive. That is a common idea. So there's a lot of crap data on the internet. Wikipedia is almost unusable, especially for those controversial topics. It is unusable. So the noise drowns out the signal in many cases. The cost is not only financial, though it can include paying for proprietary information. We also pay with our attention. You waste your time with time taken from other valuable pursuits and with your physical and mental health. So propaganda here. If you're getting involved when the noise takes the form of propaganda and disinformation, it can attack our free will and our institutions. You can be programmed by this junk data that's not based on fact or truth or signal. It's based on it's noise. It's noise that programs you. So not only do you waste your time with bad information, but you also fall victim to propaganda. If we do not pay the cost to filter the noise, we could find ourselves in a Marxist dystopia within a few years. In computing terms, noise looks like spam or a DDoS attack. Networks counter this with waiting periods and rate limits that impose a type of cost. So again, it costs to filter the noise and get to the signal. Computer networks filter the noise, they pay a cost with waiting periods, or in Bitcoin's case, with a fee. So any filter carries a cost, and that cost can outweigh the benefit of using the technology in the first place. So if you say in Bitcoin, the fees, this is very simple to understand with Bitcoin, the fees go up to $10 a transaction for on-chain transactions, it's economically not viable to send a $10 transaction and pay a $10 fee, or even a $5 transaction or a $20 transaction. With a $10 fee, you have to be getting up there into the higher value transactions of $100, $1,000. Then it becomes more viable. But the fee can be so high, the cost can be so high to filter the noise that the actual technology is, in the first place, isn't worth it. Does that make sense? AI has this problem. It allows the creation of very cheap content, which makes such content a perfect vector for propaganda and for imposing costs on you and society. If everyone can build an app, you will get hundreds of millions of apps in the United States alone, and most will go unused. They'll just be complete waste of time. That could mean hundreds of millions of days of work wasted on apps only their creators thought were needed, with no realized productivity benefit. So it's complete waste. It's a complete, massive societal cost. Signal is rare because it requires alignment with real demand, not shower thoughts, not just personal enthusiasm. The market is a signal extractor. Vibe coding is a noise generator. This is a out of the ballpark comment right here. The market is a signal extractor and vibe coding is a noise generator. If you push every brainstorm into production, the base rate says you are adding noise to your life, not clarity, reality, or identifying real problems. Most vibe coded projects begin with a conviction that you have spotted a real problem. Oh, this is going to be very valuable. Oh man, I had a shower thought, and this idea is going to really boost my productivity. And maybe others will find that as a productivity boost. You think you have identified some problem that needs to be fixed. Often you have not. And I would say most often, or probably I should have said almost always, you have not. There is a useful old warning called Chesterton's fence. Do not tear down a fence until you know why it was put up. So you're solving a problem that you don't even know if that problem is real, or maybe that problem is actually beneficial. Like a speed bump. I've identified that there is a speed bump, and so I slow down in a parking lot or wherever the speed bump is. Now I might get the idea, dude, I could go faster if I took the speed bump away. But there's a reason the speed bump is there. There's a reason there was this problem. There was a reason why this cost was imposed on society. So you shouldn't tear down a fence if you don't know why it was put up. Many seemingly clunky processes, norms, or inefficiencies survive because they encode trade-offs and constraints you have not met yet, such as compliance, reliability, coordination costs, habit formation, and social expectations. On the social side of things, we also have social speed bumps in our culture because they are protecting certain things. You get a payoff societally from certain societal speed bumps. You don't want to just take away all the speed bumps and solve all the problems. It's kind of silly. Sometimes fixing one problem creates two new ones. Identifying real problems has always been the entrepreneur's challenge, and markets are the natural mechanism that filters good ideas from bad ones. They separate signal from noise and truly productivity-enhancing ideas from vibes. If you want to vibe code an app in your free time, go for it and have fun, but recognize that this is not a market-driven process. It is a feelings-driven experiment. Markets identify whether a problem exists at all. Price. So if there is a problem that's not just a societal speed bump or some other sort of imposed cost, naturally imposed cost, then the market will demand it. The market will demand a solution. Then you're not wasting your time and resources by vibe coding. You're actually solving something that the market is already pricing. It's already pricing in a solution, or at least incentivizing a solution. Prices, adoption, churn, and willingness to switch reveal where pain is real, widespread, and worth paying to remove. Vibe coding is often a solution in search of a problem. Vibe coding is not a revolution in productivity. It is a subsidy to unvetted ideas. This is an important concept too. So it's a subsidy to unvetted ideas. What do I mean there? So these aren't market-chosen ideas. These are shower thoughts. And in the past, you would have a much higher cost to go down this road of your solution to this perceived problem. But now that cost is minimized. It's like a subsidy to bad ideas. And it ignores opportunity cost and comparative advantage, pulling you away from the work where you create the most value. It multiplies noise and shifts the rising cost of filtering that noise onto you and society. It replaces market feedback with shower thoughts. So imagine problems pass as targets and unpriced experiments pose as products. Real products or progress comes from specialization, working with markets. Identify a real problem, prove demand, earn adoption, then build. As a hobby, it can be fun. As an economic strategy, it is mostly a tax on time and attention, not a path to value. Okay, so that was this first video introducing the Substack and my economics against vibe coding. Thank you guys. Go to roguemacro.substack.com and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to wherever you're watching this video. Follow me on X and check out the YouTube channel and community. All right. Peace, guys. See you on the next one.